Hello and welcome to the T3 Handicapping YouTube channel. I'm Chris from T3 Handicapping, and thank you for joining us. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you're a returner, thank you for your continued support. Today, we are going to go over Wednesday's entire card from Gulfstream Park. Before we do that, let's just take a look at some of these ways you can get in touch with us. First of all, our website, always a great place to go to get lots of information, t3handicapping.weebly.com. For those of you that are currently members, our members portal is going to be closing on February 8th, 2022. If you've been following our channel or our picks for a while, you've noticed things have gotten a little sparse lately. I've had some upgrades to my professional life that are now demanding a little bit more of my time, and so with that, I'm not going to be able to continue producing the level of tracks that I have been producing up to this point. So I'm going to close the members portal on 2/8. I want to make sure that if I've got people paying for the product, that you're getting everything that you're used to and that it's worth the money. So what I'm going to do on 2/8, if you're currently a member of our members portal, you will get access to that all the way through February 8th. And then on February 8th, we'll close that portal down. And then any of our picks will just be given out for free via either this YouTube channel or our Facebook, which is T3 Handicapping Horse Racing, and then on Twitter at Handicapping T3. So starting February 8th, we'll be giving out any selections that we have completely free of charge. So you have access to that. Like I said, I just won't be able to do it for as many tracks as I've been doing up to this point. So thank you to those of you who have been loyal to us all the way through, and to those that are new. The good news for you is that everything from February 8th and beyond will be free, and that will include a lot of the Derby preps as well. So great opportunities to get in touch and reach us there. If you want thorough analysis of any cards as well, bettingnews.com is where I publish a lot of articles using the T3 formula to establish selections. All right, let's go ahead with that and get into our selections for Gulfstream. So race number one, we're on the Tapeta surface. We've had a lot of issues with getting rained off the turf and being forced to go on the Tapeta. Now, in this case, I think this card has a ton of Tapeta on it. They're probably saving up here, especially with the Pegasus turf in the not-too-distant future, trying to save the course. In this one, I have Tang that came up as my top selection. I don't really necessarily agree with that wholeheartedly. I would definitely want to use that on my A-line, but I'm going to want to use the 1, the 5, and the 2 in total. I think between California Frolic, I've got a little bit more of the best of speed type runner, and then 2 Peter D, I think, will be a little bit more mid-pack. We have seen speed get a little better on the Tapeta, still not great, and with a moderate pace, I think that should cover me. So I've got 1, 5, 2 there. Race number 2, we're going to go class level 17, 8.5 furlongs, once again on the Tapeta, and again, moderate pace here. I really like the 4. To me, the 4 just seems to have sort of everything its own way in this situation. There are some other ones that I think have to be respected. I'm noticing here that the number 2, despite not having very much data, is listed at 2-1, which does scare me a little bit and is going to probably have me put that one on my A-line. If I was going to use another one, it would probably be 6 Crown of Honor. Again, just getting a little bit more of that more mid-pack type runner. But I think this 4 has the ability to just carry that speed. But again, 7 is kind of the wild card with very little data. I think those 3 are plenty. I'd probably go too deep there more realistically with the 4-7. Race number 3, we've got a class level 12, 5.5 furlongs on dirt with a moderate pace, which is a little unusual for a short sprint at Gulfstream on the dirt. When we look at our A horses here, I definitely like the number 4. Projects to be on the early lead and maybe even have a fairly easy go of things out there. I'm not really sure what else is behind this one. Beyond that, I think the 6 is actually kind of interesting. Now, aggregate, that one came out as last, but I think if I'm going to go deeper, I don't want to go deeper with a 7-2 shot. I think I'd rather go deeper here with kind of an unproven commodity, so maybe put the 6 up there as well. And then beyond that, I don't really have a lot of interest in these other runners. Maybe I would put the 2 on a B line if I were going to use it. But do you really want to be using 7-2 on your B line? I do think the 5 would also be an interesting one at 12-1. I don't want to take this horse at 3-1, but at 12-1 makes some sense there. Moving on to race number 4, we've got class level 12, 5 furlongs, once again on that Tapeta surface. And this one really seems like one where you're going to want to go very deep. So I'm going to use the 5, who should be somewhat forwardly placed. But I also want to use the 2. I want to use the 6. And beyond that, I mean, 8 is interesting. Majestic de Oro. 7, Lost My Sock, is going to be kind of mid-pack in here. Baby's Dialed In, Front Runner. I'm just not sure that's going to be all that effective. This, to me, would be about as close to an all race as possible. I think if I were going to try and figure out between these ones who I wanted, I think I would be most inclined to go with the 8, gobbling them up a little bit late, maybe the 1 on the front end. And then, depending on sort of how things shake out for the number 4, that one I have as best of race flow, so I might use that one as well. Now, you'll notice that really then at this point, I just don't have the 3-7 on my ticket, and I do think that either one of those horses could be live. So I think this is a race where you want to go all if you can. Now, here you can see at Gulfstream, we're going to the inner, which is the turf course. We're going to go class level 18, 8 furlongs, and we do project to have a very slow pace here, and that's why I really like the 10. I think the 10 has a really good shot in this one, and that's probably one I would use pretty exclusively on my A line. I would want to include the 12, this Frederica. I think this one is really interesting with a couple of these sneaky little angles in here. Outside of that, I mean, the 1 shows up in a couple places. I think will outrun the 30-1, but not one that I'm super interested in. Beyond that, I think I could see myself potentially using maybe the 4 and 11 as well, sort of on that B line. And then beyond that, I think I'm just going to mostly just kind of watch the board and see what happens from there to decide if I need anything else here. But really a tough sequence, I think, to get things started. And obviously scratches could have a big impact here, and certainly if that gets rained off as well. Moving on to race number 6, class level 8, 7 furlongs. On the dirt, we have a slow pace, and I love slow-paced races on the dirt because I think that makes things very easy for me. I'm going to go with an A, the number 5. You can see all these different spots where the 5 is the best horse. On the B line, I would want to make sure that I'm backed up with the 3. I don't really have a lot of interest in anybody outside of that. It's a slow race projection. I think those 2 will get you home, but I really think the 5 is the one you want to have if you're going to go to 1 there. We're back to the Tapeta for the next race, race number 7, class level 11, going just over a mile here. Again, another slow pace. You'll see that a lot on the Tapeta surface, but that's going to really, for me, elevate some of these early pace runners. And so I'm just going to go 1, 8, and 3 on my A line. Let's see, the 3 is not as good on the race flow, so I'll go 1 and 8, and then I would put the B. I would have the 3 on sort of my B line there. And I do think, maybe the 4 is kind of an interesting, I don't know if I would have it necessarily on the B line or maybe more of a C type, but either way, I think you're probably pretty close to having everything you need. Flying Black is interesting. The inside posts I don't hate. They're not as good on the Tapeta surface. And certainly should be in a mid-pack where it can get it. I'm just a little nervous that it doesn't really show up too prominently on pace or race flow or speed figures, and that's a lot of things to overcome. Race number 8, class level 8, going 5 furlongs, again on that inner turf course, and this one does project to be fast. I do like the 5, but I'm a little worried that things are just going to get really cooking when we get out to the front. So I think you go 5. I think the 7 is interesting. I think the 3 is interesting. I think the 6 is interesting. And I think the 4 is interesting. So really, I've kind of got a lot of things covered here in the early part of this race. The 2, is honestly probably a C for me, but certainly not without hope. And I actually think, there is a way with these horses where you could potentially make a case for the 1 as well. So again, I think this is another tough race. It's been hard with very little turf racing at Gulfstream as of late. It's hard to really get a true feel for what's successful here and what's going to get us home. So I would probably want to go as deep as I could there. Going on to race number 9, class level 16, 5 furlongs on the Tapeta surface. And here I've got, kind of four main players that I want to look through. And that is, I definitely want to use quite a bit of the 8 here in this spot, and that is Perfect Provision. I'm also interested in Bullet on Tap. That's a horse I've liked quite a few times and has paid dividends for me. I think Devilly is sort of an outsider with a shot, and then I also like the number 3 horse here, Gate Closure, unknown but still ranking well in a lot of our categories. That's definitely something that I like to look for. I would take on my B line here. I feel like you're going to need value, so I don't want to go to anybody short. Like I don't want to go to Always a Party, just too short of a price for an unknown commodity. I think I'd rather take somebody like the 7 here. I could even see myself potentially throwing in the 6, but I don't really need that one there. I think a 5 there is plenty deep to go, but that one seems like a pretty open race to close out the card at Gulfstream Park. So that's how I see things kind of shaking down using our T3 selections. Again, if you're a member of the portal, you can get access to all of this there after scratches. But if you're not, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and I will be posting updates on our Gulfstream Wednesday selections. So with that, good luck. Thank you for your continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe here. Like and follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and of course, as always, cash those tickets.